the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama, a two-class challenge series for emerging talent and enthusiast racers. Platinum, the fastest class with the newest Porsche 911 Carrera GT3 Cup race cars. Gold, for 911s from 2009 model year and older. And within those two classes, a Masters Championship battle ensues. That's for drivers aged 45 and older. Tyres are from Yokohama, race cars are from Porsche. Setup is critical, but talent and racecraft are how you win. Every second counts. No mistake goes unpunished. Drivers aren't pros, but this isn't amateur hour. All of Porsche's factory races started in a series just like this. It's the largest single-make series on the planet. This is the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Yokohama.
So the Porsche Panamera safety car pulls left-handed into the pit lane. Madison Snow in the 62 Snow Racing Wright Motorsports entered machine. The red, white and black car comes through turn 20 here in round 13 of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. The clock has been running for a little while, just under 38 minutes to go. The green flag is in the air and is waved. No overtaking before the line, and everybody goes through and goes towards the long climb up to turn number one. It's a fantastic start on the inside and three wide going into turn one as Angel Benitez Jr. makes a absolutely blinding start.
He did indeed. And Madison Snow there, the championship leader, a little bit circumspect going up the hill into turn one for the very first time. Probably a smart move by the youngster. He's got a healthy championship lead. Just all he needs to do here is score some good points and stay out of trouble. Angel Benitez Jr., the opposite for him. He needs every point he can get, so he went for it there.
And already a casualty in the gravel. The 56 car has nosed straight in. Now that may well bring out a full course caution as David Baker, in the top racing machine, one of the GT3 Platinum runners.
Yeah, and you know, and he didn't really dig down too deeply in the gravel, I think. So yeah, you know, he might get away with this. He might be able to continue and might even have time to come in to the pits and just have a quick look around to make sure nothing is too untoward. But he can fire up this engine now and get going. Yep, thumbs up he goes to the safety crew there.
So with just over half an hour to go, the Panamera safety car has pulled into the pit lane, and this time it's Angel Benitez Jr., who has the field under his control as they head towards the green flag for round 13 of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. He's got a cracking start. No chance of anybody getting up the inside of him in the turn number one. Madison Snow in second place and going through Brett Sandberg there in the 46, the red and yellow star machine with the star on the bonnet. And then in fourth place, was that Sloan Urry? Yes, it was.
Was it really? Wow, yes, it was Sloan Urry who got up there. Michael Mills started on the front right away, so all the way back to sixth place. Another Texas driver who has fallen back there to sixth place. So it's Sloan Urry now, the breakthrough driver from 2 weeks ago in Baltimore. His first two pole positions, his first victory as well, and trying to move himself farther up the order. He also, as a result of that, moved up to second place in the points overall ahead of Benitez, because Benitez had two poor results 2 weeks ago.
And the amount of difference that can make to a driver's confidence winning a race, Jeremy, it almost can't be measured. Just the way he's even handling these conditions, and he's beginning the challenge now, getting a little closer to Brett Sandberg, but getting the monkey off your back, if you like, and getting that first victory makes a huge difference.
Oh boy, it certainly does. You know, now I know I can do it. I always thought I could do it, but now I know I can do it. And now, you know, he can use that experience. You tuck everything away that he did during that weekend, and try and recall exactly what sort of zone he was in, what he was concentrating on, you know, to make sure he hits all the marks and just reproduces that performance on a regular basis. That's the key to winning championships ultimately. What a great picture that is.
And did you notice how that faded out as the 30-strong field went through? That is what happens when spray is just hanging in the air. That's Colin Thompson having a battle with Michael Mills, and that is the battle for fifth and sixth position. And there's contact, side-to-side contact, and it continues, and it's still going on as Thompson has muscled his way through. And the Thompson racing car, very much a family-run machine, that as he heads round into, that's turn 14, isn't it, that he's going through now at the moment, and gets a big sideways slide on. but they were certainly leaning on each other there and continued the contact. And sometimes when you get the wheel-to-wheel contact like that, you can do some damage to the wheel rims or the tyres, but they seem to have got away from it. So Colin Thompson then improves his position up to now 6th position ahead of Michael Mills. It was 6th and 7th they were battling for.
Yeah, the youngster there, Colin Thompson, 19 years old. He's come up through the open wheel ranks, raced in F1600 Formula F last year. Last several years has done very, very well. This year stepping up into the Porsches, and a great first few laps from him, working his way up from 11th position now into the top 6.
Miguel Benitez Jr. with a 3-second advantage as he goes on to the 5th lap with plenty of time left. These are long races, 45 minutes, and you really have to pace yourself and the car in these wet conditions. Of course, you're not leaning on the car perhaps just as much. The Yokohama tyres do need to be managed, and what the guys will be watching now as we go further back down the field and look at the battle between John Baker and the 47, that blue car with the yellow stripe. He is in 23rd position at the moment and having a cracking scrap in the midfield. This battle's everywhere. That's the great thing about this championship.
Yeah, it is. And Mark Yano was in that battle as well there. The former Marine who's got the circuit racing program. They're giving away houses to military veterans, mortgage-free houses. Incredible program. They gave away the first one a couple of weeks ago at Baltimore. They're doing the same again to a Texas I think he's an ex-Marine here this weekend. It's yeah, it's fantastic what they're doing for these guys.
Angel Benitez Jr. then doing exactly what his championship challenge needs. Absolute nightmare at Baltimore by his very high standards. Failed to get to the sharp end of the point in either of the two races on the streets of Baltimore last time around, and this is exactly what he needs for his championship and for his confidence, I'm sure. But I tell you what, Jeremy, he's starting to look for damp patches. Those Yokohama wet tyres are very good indeed, but they are in some ways too good because they're drying the track out at the moment, and that will mean they're starting to get hotter and they won't be working as well.
No, that's right. Lap times coming down. Last time around, Benitez, the race leader in car number 25 for NGT Motorsports, the MOMO Italy. He set the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 30.138. So you're right, times are coming down the track. He's getting a little bit drier.
Colin Thompson making more room, and this is where he had the contact last time. He very nearly did it there with Michael Mills in the 41 Effort Racing Porsche, who gets a huge sideways slide, but somehow manages to hold on to it as they charge down to the hairpin before the carousel, and they're still battling. This is now 4 corners that they've been at, and Colin Thompson is reveling in these conditions. As Jeremy was mentioning, did not really qualify as well as we're used to seeing him go. Gets quicker through the week in that bright orange and black machine, but he has come into his own in these conditions, and he is looking very quick indeed.
True, but he's just been repassed by Michael Mills there in that Effort Racing car number 41, and heads up driving there from Colin, because he could see that Michael Mills was committed to the inside line. If Colin Thompson had turned in, the two would have clashed. So it was a smart piece of driving there by Thompson. He lost the position, but he's still in a position now to be able to challenge or re-challenge Michael Mills as that battle for 6th and 7th continues.
Yeah, just on the outskirts of the top 6 there, 6th and 7th, and these guys trading places, and we've seen these guys do this all season long. Colin Thompson, Michael Mills. Oh, Mills has gone wide at turn number 1.
Yeah, he left his braking too late. I thought he looked like a very wide entrance. He just sort of going out of the picture, sort of like a very wide line. Colin Thompson got the line perfectly into turn 1, and that will mean that Colin Thompson in car number 14 back ahead of the 41 car of Michael Mills into 6th position.
3rd position, Brett Sandberg should be popping out of the gloom any second now. There is the bright yellow star. 4th, Sloaneri. Craig Dawson is loving this, hanging on to the back of the top 4 in 5th position.
Yeah, we're still with 19 minutes to go in the race. You know, he'll be looking to stay very much in touch and then perhaps challenge either Owing and or Sandberg as we get down towards the waning stages of the race.
So as we cross the line now with just under 18 minutes to go, this battle for 6th position rages on up towards turn number 1 with Colin Thompson and Michael Mills, 14 and 41, orange and blue, over the top of the rise, down into this fantastic twisting, turning section from turns 2 through to really 6 and 7. Very reminiscent of the Beckett's section at Silverstone, which Jeremy and I are very familiar with. And some of the best corners in the world have seemingly been grafted together here on the 3.4 miles of the Circuit of the Americas. And Colin Thompson has failed to break the tour here. He's got up and repassed Michael Mills for 6th, but Jeremy, Michael's holding on there, and he's beginning just to close that gap again.
He is, and Michael Mills, he's running 4th in the championship, and he's only 13, 14 points behind the 2nd and 3rd place guys, so he needs good points to stay in touch with both Sloan Norrie and Angel Benitez Jr., who's running away with this race. Benitez in car number 25, just a new fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 30.607. That lap more than a second and a half quicker than Madison Snow, the 2nd fastest driver on the track. Actually, Craig Jewison was the 2nd fastest car on the track, did a 32.1 last time around in car number 27, running in 5th place.
And that is Collins in the black and white car, the number 4, going down the inside. Now, in the gloom, was that Casey Kilman he's gone back by again? Those two guys have been battling it out as he comes through. Yes, it is. The blue stripe down the side giving that one away. So that is the continuing battle for 12th on down, with Kilman, Collins, Stevens and Cisneros all pretty close together. And here is Billy Stevens down the inside, and he's banged into Kilman. And that is not what the Masters Championship contender needs. And he's lost not 1 but 2 positions there as Cisneros goes through as well. Paul Barnard's not that far behind. Look for a dark blue. Oh no, Barnard has dropped away there for a moment. That was not the car I expected. He spun. Barnard has spun in the background. I was expecting to see the blue car, and he's looped that around. So I think that's Fred Perdad who's come through now in the green car. There is the 17, Paul Barnard.
A bit of a desperate move there from Billy Stevens there, wasn't on the brake, and particularly he's another guy making his debut in the series this weekend, and he's not exactly helping Casey Coolman, who's a regular contender and going for the Masters Championship as well. So yeah, I don't think Casey will be particularly happy at the moment. So yeah, the rain is definitely getting harder now, particularly in some parts of the track more than others perhaps, but it's very treacherous here as he comes through the stadium section one more time, but he is still, I think, extending that lead over Madison Snow in 2nd place.
There is Madison Snow going through the shot now. Then it's Sandberg, just holding distance at the moment to Sloan Norrie in 4th position. Durson, Craig Durson in the 27 car, leading the Masters category from Colin Thompson, who is on his own now after that little bit of wheel banging and barging. And then it's Mills, Mackenzie. Mark Mackenzie's come up through the field as well in the 63 car. Ahead, there's been a contretemps. I am going to suggest there's been a contretemps because we're missing some names in the middle of the pack who have dropped away just a little bit, because we had Al Carter up there a little while ago, and the 05's had a spin as well. And that was our Masters class leader, Benitez. Our gold class leader, my apologies. I think he might have got away without losing too much ground. So Angel Benitez Jr. continues to dominate round 13. And again a spin. That's Fred Perdad who's gone around.
No, it's the other green car. Seth Davido, that one in the Kelly Moss car, turns that car around. He was running in the 20th position. Whoops.
Oh, and there's a...
Was that...
Now, who's the blue one? Is that Barnard again spinning it around? He's lost it a couple of times in the same, but it's clearly getting more and more difficult. Oh, yeah. And the application of the right foot, very, very important here, as these guys are clearly finding out visibility, becoming an issue, difficult to spot your braking points. 12 minutes to go. And Benitez leads from Snow, and for the first time Snow takes a significant amount of time as we have another spinner, the number 90 car.
There's the aforementioned Billy Stevens, who we saw making a very aggressive move on Casey Coolman a little while ago. Billy has now turned, he pulled away quite a long way from Coolman, but he now has turned that car around, and I think will have lost a bunch of positions.
Al Carter there, and yeah, this is getting really bad now. There is the 24 car, and it's full course caution. There's a couple of places on the track where we clearly have standing water that's making life very, very difficult indeed, and the Porsche Panamera safety car is out as we have another visitor to the gravel, Mark Yarno. has beached that car, but he was in good company. There was 3 or 4 people going around, and he's going to be joined. Is he? Oh, dear me, that's the worst thing you can see when you're sitting in a racing car. Mark, close the door, stay exactly where you are, and wait for help to arrive. There's no need for you to be thinking about doing anything. I know you want to get back in the race.
And again, a great safety feature, I think, of the Circuit of America. So that part of the racetrack, there's a good, that you've got the exit curbing, then you've got a goodly area of paved asphalt area. It gives you plenty of time to perhaps gather up the car, as did whoever that was that almost joined Mark Yono in the gravel trap. But and then you get the gravel after that, which is where Mark's car is. But yeah, he's fine in there. I doubt this race is going to get restarted. There's only 3.5 minutes left on the clock now, and under the safety car they're doing about 4.5 minute laps. So I fancy we'll probably see the white and still yellow flag, I believe, at the end of this tour. It'll be 14 laps completed this time around.
So the Porsche Panamera safety car will be the first of 32 Porsches to cross the finishing line in round number 13 of the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. That means, of course, we're finishing under full course caution with weather conditions that have been challenging, treacherous, and ultimately have robbed us of a dash to the finish for the minor places, because Angel Benitez Jr. has been the star of the show, stretched out to almost, in fact, over 7 seconds from a quality field. Second will be championship leader Madison Snow, and third Brett Sandberg stands on the podium in the 46 car as well. As we go to round number 14, Madison Snow is still the points leader for the 2013 Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. For round 14 of the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama, front row Madison Snow and Angel Benitez Jr. qualifying on their practiced times after the qualifying session itself was rained off earlier in the weekend. Michael Mills and Sloan Urry, 41 and 20, sitting in behind. We're waiting for the green flag. It's a long run to it, and it's green, 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 and we are racing. It's going to be 4 wide into the first corner. Mills comes down the inside of the 41 effort racing car, right up the inside of the championship leader, and look behind us, Sandberg in the red and yellow car. Beautiful bit of driving, and he's going to take the lead. Sandberg, all the way from the 3rd row of the grid, is challenging Mills for the lead. Did he make it? Yes, he did, and there goes the championship leader alongside him. And that is a brilliant comeback from Madison Snow. Not quite got it done yet, but he will. No, he won't close it out as they come through turn number 4. And Madison Snow does not need to be taking those kinds of risks, Jeremy Shaw, when he's got the championship. Oh, there goes Benitez Jr. behind him. Hits one of those big pyramids on the apex of the corners, and that is one of the challengers, 3rd in the championship coming into this weekend. Had a fabulous dominating win yesterday in the rain, and he's just given away any chance of challenging at the front of the field. Meantime, Sandberg has Mills down the inside. This is for the lead. Down into turn number 12. The action is fast and furious, and there goes Madison Snow back into 2nd. It's just roll the dice and see where it lands.
Fantastic stuff on this opening lap there. Brett Sandberg, his birthday boy yesterday, had a great run yesterday to finish on the podium, but he's gone from 1st to 3rd here, and now it's Madison Snow challenging, but it's Mills on the inside line under braking for turn 12. The effort racing, the blue car just ahead of the red and white car of Madison Snow, but Snow again makes a great exit, but the problem is the next corner is a right-hander, and again Mills has the inside line for that, but a great battle going on between these two.
And he's clipped the curb on the inside, and again that's unsettled the effort racing car, and Madison Snow has just been tagged by Mills as he was
still being tagged by Mills.
That was more than just a love tap, wasn't it? I think that was an engagement in some countries. That's quite remarkable, a promise to marry there. As through comes the 20 car in behind now. Has there been any damage to Mills's car? You know, I think there might have been, Jeremy, because he's off the pace for a moment.
Yep. I think you might be right. He was tagging the rear of Snow's car all the way through the double right-hander, double left-hander into that corner. A very aggressive first lap from Michael Mills, and it doesn't seem to have paid off for him because he's all of a sudden found himself back in 4th place.
I think at one stage, Madison Snow dropped down to at least 3rd or 4th.
How many different leads have we had in that first lap?
4, yes. 4 different leaders on the first 3.4 miles. That's why we love Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama so much. And the guys, as ever, are absolutely not disappointing here at the Circuit of the Americas.
That was a great lap, though, by Madison Snow, because he got pushed out there at the first corner. Very aggressive move from Michael Mills to stuff it down the inside. He had to go off wide, as did Benitez, but Snow came back. He got at one place back going through the into the S's, and then he made the move also on Michael Mills later on. So a great first lap for the youngster there. Hard to believe he's still only 17 years old. He's the championship leader. He's very much the class of the field now. He's had some very stiff opposition this season, particularly from Angel Benitez, but today it's the Madison Snow who's got himself out in front again.
That is Benitez, Angel Benitez Jr. in the NGT, the MOMO NGT Motorsports car, and he has dropped well down the standings, down to 22nd position in the race, 21st in class, and that's a long way back to start getting into the championship points, as Sandberg is having a look at Mills as they go down the long back straight. Meantime, Urey's having a battle as well with Craig Durson in there, Mark McKenzie, those two guys battling at the head of the Masters class, just in behind the blue and the red and yellow car. Side-by-side action into 12 again as through goes Durson, and Craig Durson once again proving that you can teach an old dog new tricks. He has had a win this year, of course. The 27 driver, the man from Florida, earns his corn as a dentist and loves to come racing at the weekends. Yeah,
tremendous job, and a good first lap for him too, because he started in the 8th position, made up 3 places on the first lap. He's got ahead of Mark McKenzie in that the third of the effort racing cars. That's a blue car who is right behind Craig Durson, the number 27 and the number 63. Mark McKenzie, the local guy from Austin. Track knowledge, yes, plenty of it. Driven Porsches around, Ferraris around here. This is his first start in the IMSA GT3 Cup challenge by Yokohama, but he's got a lot of experience. He actually was involved in the building of the track. We talked about yesterday, his company was involved in a lot of the construction work here. As we see, Colin Thompson have a great dive to the inside there for the final corner.
And that was for 9th position on Phil Fogg Jr. And Thompson knocks him back a position, and side by side again. Thompson's just lost out as they go across the start-finish line and up the hill, climbing that ascent to turn number 1. A slightly defensive line then from Phil Fogg Jr. in the black and red Entrust car. Thompson down the inside in the family-owned and run machine. Great mix of talent, a great mix of machinery in here. They're all Porsches, of course, but some of them are run by very professional teams, like the MGT cars, like the effort cars, and Colin Thompson, that is very much, you know, trailered here, and his family team runs it.
That's right, Porsche Bucks County from Pennsylvania. The dealership actually originally owned by Al Holbert, of course, who was for a while Motorsport's director of Porsche over here, lost his life in a plane crash tragically a long time ago now. Very accomplished racer, but the Thompsons too. Colin's father, John Thompson, had a long history of racing, particularly in Formula Atlantic competition, so this racing runs very deeply in that family's blood.
Yeah, they're battling at the bottom end of the top 10. Here is our gold class leader. As for from the race here yesterday, stopping for fuel apparently. Oh, as he has to avoid a spinning number 45, and that was CoTA, who was right astride the racing line there, right in front of the 05 from Miguel Benitez, another Masters category driver, and leading the gold class ahead of the championship leader in gold class in the 36 car, Michael Levitas, who we'll probably get a look at a little bit later on, because he tends to take a little while to get warmed up, Michael, but then he does race towards the second half of the race. It's a 45-minute race, of course, and you do need to decide whether to set your car up to come on towards the end of that and work the tyres best at the beginning or the end. It's about as far as any race of this type will go because of the size of the fuel tank in the car. No stops for tyres, so there's a very great amount of management going on in terms of the car and the Yokohama tyres. There's Angel Benitez Jr. Has he made up any positions? Well, yes, but only one.
No, he's made up a couple more, I think, by the time to get to the end of this lap. He just passed Mark Yorno for the, I think, probably about the 18th position, but it was a big mistake by Benitez on that first lap. He was just trying to be too aggressive. He was trying to, I think he could see that his championship rival Madison Snow was making moves. He was trying to do the same and got a little bit greedy.
Now we're getting some announcement, or oh yes, there is definitely coming something out the front of the car. I was going to say fluid leaking out of the car. The corner workers had spotted it there, eagle-eyed, the right front of that car. Now, interestingly, of course, the two different models, we saw the fuel flap open earlier on one of the gold class cars, but the fluid, I think, from the front of Angel's car is likely to be coolant from one of the radiators. It was just at the front of the right front wheel. The issue with that is it good when it stops or bad when it stops?
Yes, quite. In fact, it means it stops all the coolant has come out of the system there. That would not be good news.
It's got damage on the right front there, Jeremy, after that lurid moment on the opening lap. Madison Snow leads by over a second and a half now from Sloan Erry in second. Michael Mills has got a battle on his hand. Brett Sandberg. Both of these guys have already led the race, albeit briefly. Now scrapping over the final podium position, and there's an equally hard battle going on between Craig Dawson and Mark McKenzie in a spinner there down the field. That's Cisneros in the 29 MOMO car, and here is that side-by-side battle for the final podium position going towards the carousel.
Yeah, Mills and Sandberg, they're battling away, and right behind those two, Mark McKenzie has managed to find a way past Craig Dawson. They're battling over 5th and 6th places and the top position in the Masters class.
Yeah, that's the blue car in behind that red and yellow Entrust, the Privacy Star car, excuse me, who he's just dropped back a little bit, coming into the final corner. Turn number 20 here. It's a very, very busy track. You've got those two long straights, the front and the back straight, but after that there's really nowhere for anyone to rest.
Well, they're coming up the hill now towards turn 1. That number 46 car, Brett Sandberg, in 4th place. Right behind him is Mark McKenzie. Right behind him is Craig Dawson. And not far behind Craig Dawson is Casey Coolman, who had a tough run yesterday. He was the Masters Championship leader coming into this weekend. Still does lead it, but with the result yesterday, Craig Dawson was able to close significantly on that points battle. So Coolman needs to keep Dawson within sight here this morning.
Yeah, and make sure that he at least mitigates the points he's losing to him. Next up in 8th place is the 99 car. And, well, we've seen that very pretty silver and grey car, silver and black car throughout the whole of the season inside the top 10. Patrick Otto Madsen, the Answer Motorsport machine. There is the 44 in 10th, Phil Fogg Jr. And that is your top 10, and there's barely 10 seconds between the top cars in this 14th round of the 2013 Porsche IMSA GT Cup Challenge by Yokohama, with 35 minutes to go. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th position, all in the same camera shot as they brake and go all the way down to 2nd, maybe 1st gear for turn number 12, and then 13 again. It's right in between. Is it 1st? Is it 2nd? Get back on the throttle again, point the car in the right direction. 14 and 15, well, you kind of give up 14 to get the entry to 15. Meantime, battles further down the field, Jeremy. 56 and 30 battling. Well, they should be just inside the top 20. That's Baker. He was in 14th. I think he's dropped back a bit.
He has. He must have had a spin, I think, on this lap, and he's now really under pressure from Angel Benitez Senior, Angel Rafael Benitez.
Oh, and there's the junior, and it has come to an end as we were watching the father, his son's NGT Motorsport car, and maybe his championship aspirations have ground to a halt. I'm sure that was the coolant that we saw early on, and that, well, that is very bad news for him and very good news for 17-year-old and 3-year veteran of this class, Madison Snow, who now leads by 2.6 seconds to Sloan Erry in 2nd place. Now, Sloan Erry, as they go past, they'll have seen that, they know what that means. No points this weekend for the 25 car.
Yeah, and that is going to take him out of championship contention. He clambers over the wall there, out of the race. He was 38 points behind, 39 points behind coming into the weekend. He gained 1 point on Madison yesterday by winning a race, Angel Benitez Jr., but no points today. That's going to be an insurmountable mountain for him to climb in the final 2 rounds at Road Atlanta in a few weeks' time.
Down towards the back end of the top 10, here's Thompson and Kuhlman. battling, or should I say Koolman and Thompson, because they are in that order now.
Yeah, and Dewson has got back past Mark Mackenzie, and not only that, but Casey Koolman, who we're watching here now, is under pressure from Colin Thompson, and ahead of both of them, I believe, Lewis, on the scoring. We didn't see the pass, but is Patrick Otto Madsen, who's had a really, really good weekend. There is that car in front of Casey Koolman, so that puts Casey Koolman back to 4th place in the Masters category, and that is not what he needs in the battle for the championship.
And at the moment, he would not hold on to his championship lead if Craig Dewson can win this part of the race, that category of the race. 3rd place battle though, Brett Sandberg having tasted the front of the field, albeit briefly on the opening lap here at the Circuit of the Americas, is now sniffing the 3rd place again, and does the old over and under. Just a little tap on the back of Mills ahead of him as they go through 15 and in towards the complex, the triple right-hander, 16, 17 and 18. Keep the car in the middle of the road, don't pinch the corner too much. You want to carry as much pace as you can out of 18, then tricky corner 19 because you're above the turning point as you brake and turn left. Then down to turn 20. The circuit rising to you just a little bit, helping you with the braking, but 20, one of those corners that can really suck you in. You always think you can go a bit quicker through there. Sandberg's got himself a good exit from the final turn, and now as they ascend to turn 1, he has a look to driver's left. He's not really in a position, and Mills comes over and covers that one, but will the 4th place car be able to get the power on? There's not really a run down into turn 2, or is there? Sandberg tries to muscle his way through there, thinks better of it. For me, Mills beginning now to drive in his mirrors, Jeremy, and that's never a good thing. He's starting to think about where he's putting the car. Nothing wrong with that. He's certainly not blocking at the moment, but it did compromise his line through part of that first sequence of corners 2, 3 and 4.
It did, but he managed to get himself back in sync there, and he's actually edged out a car length or 2 as he went all the way through those S's. A good run. I think he got his head back into gear there, concentrated on his lines, hit his marks, and he's come out with a slightly increased margin over that car number 46 of Brett Sandberg.
Now, Sandberg's definitely got his right-hand side window rolled down there, and that cannot help with the aero. That's may well have been knocked out of place in the early running, and the very, very fast run down here that they're on now, coming up that not inconsiderable rise actually as they go down to turn number 12, and that is certainly going to affect his top speed. So the field streaming through down into turn number 12. Koolman then needing to move forward and absolutely not wanting to see the bright orange of Colin Thompson right in his wheel tracks. He's clearly taking his attention there, and he's gone defensive through 13. It's a better line through 14 and into 15. Easy to lock a wheel there or try to push too hard and get understeer, get some push through the left-hander. My favourite part of the circuit is this, 16, 17 and 18. It doesn't look that difficult because it's 3 right-hand corners, but you pop out of there, and if you can get through there quickly, you can make a lot of time. So on to the start-finish line. Casey Koolman, the Masters Championship leader, Masters class leader, goes across the line with 24.5 minutes to go. Colin Thompson in behind him, not in the same class, but the bad news for Casey is his championship lead is evaporating in the heat of Texas with 3 Masters class cars ahead of him. He's only in 4th position, and worse news is his real championship rival, Craig Dewson, is taking the top spot. Now at the head of the field, Madison Snow and Sloan Ury are pulling away from Michael Mills, but Sloan Ury just easing back towards the leader.
He is, and he just set the fastest lap of the race last time around, and 1:14.822 for Sloan Ury. So Madison Snow were 1:14.851 earlier in the race, and his last lap for Madison Snow, the race leader, 1:15.3. So half a second Sloan Ury pulled back on that last lap. The gap now down to 2.2 seconds. It was well over 2.5 seconds.
Well, if you're not ready to put money on the winner yet, certainly don't be placing any bets on 3rd position, because Michael Mills, Brett Sandberg, Craig Dewson, Mark Mackenzie, still in with a shout, certainly those first three. And there is our Masters leader, Craig Dewson, and this is a good weekend's work for the man from Florida. And there has been a change of position as Casey Coleman's day goes from bad to worse, Jeremy. He's not lost any more Masters points, but he's got another car between himself and the guys he needs to be ahead. And the worst news is that Phil Fogg is a Masters driver.
That's right. He's Phil Fogg Jr. in car number 44, the Entrust entry from the True Sport Autosport team. He is now closing in on Casey Coleman. The battle for 9th and 10th places overall. And for Coleman to lose another position here certainly would not be good, because with Dewson leading the class, right now there's a 6-point swing between Dewson and Coleman. There was only 4 points separating them coming into this race.
So Dewson driving at the moment in that 27 car in 5th position, driving towards the lead of the Masters Championship. And Coleman at the moment hanging on really to trying to keep that gap as small as possible. It's down to 1.8 seconds at the head of the field, and Sloan Ury is pacing himself nicely. He's not trying to charge up and use up his tyres, use up his energy, use up his car. But you've got to think, Jeremy, is Madison Snow, who at only 17, tender in years, but rich in experience, particularly in this class.
Yeah, three years of Porsche racing under his belt. He's still only 17. Last lap at the previous lap, Sloan Ury set a new fastest lap of the race of 1 minute 14.287. But on the last lap they've just completed, Madison Snow is responding on his own. He was a little bit faster. It was his personal best, a 2:14.6. So Ury has the fastest car out there on track at the moment. Even on the last lap, even though Snow went faster than he had previously in a race, Ury still clipped another 1/10 of a second away from that advantage held by Madison Snow.
And while that battle is beginning to hot up, the battle for third is boiling over again as Brett Sandberg weaving left and right, putting himself in the mirrors, in the eye line of Michael Mills, and he's going to do the old over and under coming out of turn number 11, a little bit downhill there. Got on the power a tad earlier. Mills has covered the middle of the road, but there will be a big hole in the air that the Effort Racing 41 car is making, and can Sandberg take advantage of that? Still got that window down. Wow, right down the middle of the road. Nothing wrong with what Mills is doing for me there. He's just defending his line. But I still have to think, Jeremy, with a better run out of the corner and another one there, that window not being there for Sandberg has hurt him down the long straight, but not in the short shoot between 12 and 13 as he goes through. And another incisive and decisive move that takes third place. Sandberg has been to the front of the field, dropped back down to 5th, back up to 4th, and now has claimed that third place spot once again from Michael Mills in 4th.
The birthday boy yesterday, Brett Sandberg, celebrated his 24th birthday. He's from Allendale, New Jersey, and he is driving a really fine weekend. Came away with an excellent third place finish yesterday, and what a great move that was there to take away third place once again from Michael Mills.
At the front of the field, there is traffic, and well, traffic doing its best to do the right thing in all fairness, and heads up driving as Madison Snow hits it first. It's danger time for the leader always, of course. Sloan perhaps not quite as close as he might have wanted to be there to be able to seize on any issues like this, because he's been held up there and the leader has to go offline, and you just saw there the hesitation from Madison Snow, and look, Sloan is right there ready to pounce.
And on the previous lap, both of these two guys set their fastest laps of the race. Sloan Ury 2 minutes 14.06, Madison Snow 2 minutes 14.13, so nothing between these two now, but Ury, he's on the charge. He's getting closer and closer and closer. Great work there through the S's to close right up on the tail of Madison Snow as they head down the back straightaway one more time.
Super smooth on the power, both of these young chargers at the head of the field. For me, where Ury has it on the leader is on the heavy braking areas, Jeremy. Look at the end of this straight. He seems to take a little bit out going into 11 and a bit more into 12. Watch the back end of Madison Snow's car. He's trying to keep it under control. The back is trying to overtake the front. And Ury just seems to be a little bit smoother, gets deeper in the corner and is using much less road on the exit.
He is. He's driving very, very tidily. I saw Sloan this morning. He was disappointed to be qualifying farther down the field. He just didn't get the most out of his car in practice because they didn't kind of do a qualifying simulation in the practice sessions, and it ended up with qualifying itself being cancelled. They used the times from practice to set the times for the grid. Also, earlier in the weekend, he was really struggling with excessive understeer, pushed the front end, just didn't want to turn on the effort racing car. They've made some changes though, and now he's very much in the game. He's closed on that gap now to Madison Snow. Can Madison respond? It looks like he can, because he's pulled out a little bit on this lap.
Out of what will be the final corner in round about 9 minutes time. What's the gap at the line? It's a long run to the line here as well. The timing line that's used for the finish is the one that is just towards the pit out end, and for the first time in a long time, the leader has taken something out of the chaser, and it's up to 1.3 seconds. Then we've got a couple of lap cars, and then this epic struggle for third place. Yeah, it is still raging here. It's Sandberg who has it, but Michael Mills only a couple of car lengths behind, and we've seen how aggressive Michael Mills can be. Oops, there's Eduardo Cisneros and his teammate Amadeo Quiros getting together down there. And that is at 15. That was all that big battle for 14th, 15th, 16th, and all the way down there. So they come together. There is Madison Snow and Sloan Uri for the first time last time. And it wasn't traffic that held up Uri on that last lap, because they'd already got past the traffic. As they came onto the straightaway at turn 11, Uri was the closest he had been to Madison Snow. But by the time they got to the end of the lap, Madison Snow had eked out that gap to 1.3 seconds. Well, now that is very bad news indeed for Paul Barnhart, sitting inside the top 20. He's lost that now, ended up backwards into the wall. Looks great for the Le Mans start, not so much in the race. In the meantime, again, these heavy braking areas providing great excitement into turn 1 this time, as we're following the battle we saw a little bit earlier. Fred Purdad on the back of there in the green car. These guys are fighting really hard, but the front of the field is still where the action is. In third position, Michael Mills now has a look on Sandberg into turn number 11, and they're almost together, side by side. That's turn 12, my apologies. This is where they changed positions last time, with Sandberg going down the inside, and Mills is trying to repay the compliment and take his third place back by going round the outside, and amazingly enough, he's actually done it. Same place on the track, went down from third to fourth there last time, and now he's gone up from fourth to third, but Sandberg pushes in turn number 16. I've never seen anybody having a look down the inside there before, Jeremy. So I wonder if Sandberg realises that he allows Mills to get away. Maybe he can't respond in this late part of the race, may have used up his tyres, and Craig Durson is not out of this fight yet. Well, the previous lap, both of these two cars, Mills and Sandberg, set their fastest laps of the race. They're charging as hard as they can, but as you can see, Craig Durson is closing in on the both of them. Another spin for the 29 car, Cisneros, as the traffic will play its part here, will it? Mills has to go to the inside of the two lap machines, and here is Durson. Now Craig Durson backed out of that really sensibly, does not want to throw away the points for the Masters and the potential lead in the championship, and a lead that may well stretch out beyond a couple or 3 points. Down through the S's, and Mills gets wide, gets offline. He's got out of sequence with the left-right corners. It allows the car behind you, in this case Brett Sandberg, to have a little look, and he's right on him there as the rest of the field comes through this traffic, and look how difficult it is to pass through there. Yeah, and that's the battle there between Mark McKenzie and Patrick Otto Madsen, car number 63 and 99, and on their tail as well, Colin Thompson, the youngster, right there in car number 14. This is a super battle, coming now down into the hairpin to lead onto the back straightaway, and it's McKenzie who holds that position over Madsen, and Thompson right there. That is the battle for 6th position as it streaks out of turn number 11. And now Thompson is the third of those three. But he's not close enough, I think, to get the toe, or is he? Let's look back as we had a quick look at the third place. He is! He comes out very, very late indeed. Can he get the 14 car stopped? Oh, he's gone past both of them! Absolutely remarkable. I think he scared Mark Mackenzie into that. Mackenzie saw him coming and thought, he's never going to get that stopped. I'm going to get out of his way.
Yeah, and in doing so, he allowed Madsen to get past him as well. So Mackenzie has just all of a sudden lost 2 positions. And again, Patrick Otto Madsen, boy, he's been a revelation these last couple of races. I don't know what's turned him around, but he is really driving quite beautifully and took advantage there. He saw the gap open up and through he went.
Yeah, he actually hasn't made a position. He's net the same, of course.
And right behind them is Casey Kuhlman, who is the Masters Championship leader coming into this weekend. But unless he can make up a couple of positions here, he might lose that advantage.
So they head down to complete their lap. Remarkable stuff. And I thought really mature driving actually by Patrick Otto Madsen. He was losing a position, saw the opportunity to regain it. Net, he's in the same position. He's just got the same guys around him. They've just reversed. But that could have been very nasty indeed. It wasn't good heads-up driving by everybody. Great heads-up driving at the front of the field, Jeremy, by Madison Snow, who has responded to the charge.
He has indeed. He set this the fastest lap of the race a couple of laps ago. The first man down into the 2 minutes 13s, 2 minutes 13.883. Pulled out another couple of tenths of a second on that lap. This last lap, the two leaders were almost identical lap times, but there's 1.3 seconds between these two. And Madison Snow, he's put his head down and he has got his sights set on the victory very much so this afternoon.
Time is running out for Sloanuri in second place. Michael Mills just about hanging on to third position by less than half a second. And with 3 minutes to go, Madison Snow has all but got this one in the bag. And the arithmetic is on his side, both in the countdown clock and in the championship standings. But third place, well, Permany 2 from 3 probably. It looks like Craig Dewson for me is settled for the Masters win and is letting these two guys have at it as they come down to turn the heavy braking again at turn number 12. This is the place they like to swap 13 and 14, and this has been their battleground, hasn't it?
It's amazing. I mean, Brett Sandberg is massively quick there into and through turn 12, and he's right on Michael Mills' tail again through this infield section. And this, we saw turn 16, he made a kind of a move to the inside last time around. Not quite close enough this time, but you can see the two of them, they're fighting a big understeer there from Brett Sandberg as he turned in to that triple apex right-hander.
Yeah, 16, 17 and 18, now through to 19. Turn in the car, the road drops away, the car is unsettled as you turn it in. It's a really tricky and a precise entry needed to turn 19 and indeed to 20. Coming slightly uphill, Craig Dewson, I think, just enjoying himself as he goes through there. Behind them, Colin Thompson has settled into 6th position, ahead of Madsen in 7th. Good run for him. Great weekend for Mark Mackenzie in his first outing in the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. A couple of top 10 finishes.
But here is Casey Kuhlman looking to the inside in turn 1. Car number 15 makes that move. Whoa, and contact on the exit.
What was I saying? What was I saying? Well, that's good for Casey Kuhlman because he has made up another position, but his Masters lead is still very much in jeopardy, I'm afraid, this weekend.
Well, that's exactly what he needed, because that would be the 3rd place in the class. That would score him 16 points to the 20 of Craig Dewson. That would mean they're absolutely tied together going to the final 2 races of the season.
You know, I think this has been a beautifully judged race by young Madison Snow. Could have panicked, started on pole, dropped down as far as 4th in that melee in the first corner, was aggressive when he needed to be. I thought slightly, perhaps taking a chance or two too many in getting himself a little bit of contact, but he's ridden his luck on that. But there's been nothing else lucky about this run. He has judged the pace of this race perfectly. Sloanuri came back to him, but he's had something left in himself, the car and the Yokohama tyres, to respond to that in the last third of the race.
Absolutely right. A tremendous textbook performance, really, by Madison Snow. As you say, aggressive when he needed to be, conservative when he needed to be, and I think he kept something within himself and the car for the final stages of this 45-minute race, because it's a longer race than yesterday. You do have to manage the tyres, particularly when it's pretty warm out there. It's certainly not as warm as it was earlier in the week, but it has been a great run by Madison Snow.
Colin Thompson is going to get another top 6 finish.
It's been a good run for him too.
Yeah, that is another very good drive. Craig Durson will be delighted. The cards have fallen in his favour, but ahead of him, the battle for third rages on, and Sandberg is not giving it up. He's come from a long way back and down into his one of his favourite areas. The heavy braking areas belong to Sandberg. He has been imperious on the middle pedal. Just wonderful stuff in turn 11, and has stretched out a handy lead. Now, in the last half a lap, can Michael Mills do anything about it? This third place has changed hands, I don't know, half a dozen or 8 times, and Mills comes from way back. Now, last time he couldn't get it stopped, and they'll run down. Oh, that's a super move, because Mills knows that the next turn is a right-hander, and that Sandberg likes that, and that was a block pass perfectly, absolutely perfectly executed.
It was, because by the time they got to the turning point, Mills was absolutely alongside Brett Sandberg.
Coming to the checkered flag to complete round 14 of the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup, challenged by Yokohama, the 6th win of the season. A half dozen victories for Madison Snow, who cements his lead at the top of the championship.
With the effort racing pair of Uri and Mills in 2nd and 3rd. And what great driving the whole weekend for Brett Sandberg. He finishes with 4th position. Craig Durson takes the Masters class with Patrick Otto Madsen 2nd and Casey Kuhlman in 3rd. And in gold, Miguel Benitez makes it a double. Michael Levitas is on the podium again, as is David Williams. With 2 rounds left in the 2013 championship, Madison Snow has secured his Platinum Class championship ahead of Sloan Uri and Angel Benitez Jr., despite both their great drives this weekend. But there are battles that remain. Who will take the 2nd place for the championship? In Masters, Craig Durson is now tied with Casey Kuhlman as we leave Austin, and in gold, Michael Levitas continues his dominance, despite the 2 wins by Miguel Benitez this weekend. For the team championship, Effort Racing is now ahead of Snow and Wright Motorsports by only 3 points in Platinum. And tune in for the finale of the Porsche IMSA GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama in just a few weeks' time at the legendary Road Atlanta circuit.